Write the vision, make it plain. I am Dr. Estella Conwill Majozo, and this is Profile of a Writer. And the book that I will be discussing this time is Ringshout, a National Rite of Passage. This is the second edition, and that's the one you should get. That's the one you should get. This grew out of the monument that my brother and the Houston Conwill and the team did, the new Ringshout in the new federal building. And it's a beautiful monument. And I began thinking, it's wonderful to go and visit there, but our children needed something to go with it, something more. And so I began thinking, and I wrote this Ringshout, a national rite of passage for the new and promised generation. You know, when you go to Africa, they have boyhood training, womanhood training, and in the Jewish culture, they have bar mitzvah, and the Spanish culture, they have quinceanera. What do our children have on a national scale that initiates them to take their positions as viable human beings and citizens and children of God? What do we have nationally that marks their passage into adulthood? So I wrote this piece. I took years writing it, and there's a CD that goes with it. There's a movie that goes with it. We initiated a core group in Louisville, Kentucky, with facilitators and workshops. And this book was rewritten with training for the trainers, instructions, so that you can, in fact, initiate your children in the family or in small groups, because we won't be doing it anymore. Let me just read to you the beginning passages. Ringshout, a national rite of passage for the new and promised generation, is a tale of a great and powerful people who were called by Almighty God to survive the horrors of slavery and to resist some of the most brutal oppression inflicted upon mankind in the last 500 years. The initiation has 5 challenges, and they're all coded in a little 5-letter word called xenia, meaning hospitality, the opposite of xenophobia, meaning taking on the other, and in its highest expression, love. It's being at home in your own cultural skin, but not being afraid to let others in. Say the challenges aloud. Xenia. X, X-ray the soul. E, exalt those worthy of praise. N, negotiate. I, interrogate. A, adept for a whole new phase. When you look through history at the soul of our people, what you'll see is the 5 and the 10 over and over again. Whenever these two numbers or the leaders marked by these two numbers rise at the same historical moment, their rising and crossing create what's called a shining. The two leaders in a shining usually pronounce their identity either as the 5 or the 10 in a very public manner. There are 3 times that this has happened in our history. In other words, there are 3 major shinings in our history. First, with Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Second, with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. And then third, at this historical moment, with 2 important people that you will identify. Listen. At the first shining, Booker T. Washington, in his most famous speech at the Atlanta World Exhibition, said, "In all things purely social, we can be as separate as the 5 fingers, yet one as the hand in all things essential to mutual progress." He said more that day, but the 5 fingers marked him. His counterpart, W.E.B. Du Bois, founding father of the NAACP, projected his hope for the race through the talented 10th, that gifted among us who would inspire others to achievement. That's the first shining. In the second shining, Malcolm Little became Malcolm X. The X represented his unknown African name. However, it is as well the Roman numeral 10. Unlike Malcolm, who sought justice by any means necessary, Martin Luther King Jr.'s nonviolent way of confronting injustice, even in the face of bullets, bombs, and bloodhounds, was fixed on the fifth commandment, thou shalt not kill. Nonviolence, passive nonviolence. These fathers, Malcolm and Martin, as well as Booker T and W.E.B., may have appeared to be bitter enemies, but they were in fact twins, cultural prophets whose rising and crossing created light. So there you have the two shinings. Now we're moving off into the third. But meanwhile, I'm going to show you just how pervasive this 5 and the 10 is in our history. Listen. Come on, light, diffusion, and grace with 5s and 10s all over the place. The sit-ins at Woolworths, a 5 and dime store. King's birthday, the 10th national holiday. But wait, there's more. The Montgomery bus boycott, the day Rosa Parks arrived, December Holy 5th, 1955. And the Buffalo Soldiers, they never turned back. The 10th Cavalry Regiment of the U.S. Army, Jack. And the Million Man March, Farrakhan was no jive. He said, I stand before you with an 8-point plan, of which atonement is number 5. And what was the first words of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech 50 years ago? Go on now, teach. A great American, Abraham Lincoln, in whose symbolic shadow we stand, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Now you're starting to understand. Now there's just one more from our history that I've got to revive. Turn to the person next to you and say, come on, give me 5. That's old school for dap. It ain't rap, but it's live. You know what I'm talking about. Give it up, give me 5. However you checking it, ebonically perfecting it, I'm through with dissecting it. So come on, give me 5. Now it's time for the third shining. Here's a little hint. The 5 in the third shining is the first black president. President Barack Obama, you say. Yes, but how do you know? Just because he has 5 letters in his name? No. Just because he's conscious, if that's all it takes, make it Jesse Jackson and DMX, for heaven's sakes. What did Obama say in the campaign that marked the man? He said, there are 5 things America can do to begin to lead again. Okay, he's the 5. Close your eyes for the 10. This is a person who never gives in. He's got the philosophical impulse of a W.E.B. and the cooperative economic spirit of a Booker T. He's got King's sense of justice, Malcolm's search for the real. His example will touch hundreds in the ripple appeal. You know this young people, just look within. Okay, now, who is it? Say it. I am the 10. Listen to that. You're the 10th generation up from slavery. You're the number 10, that number 10, that's me. Generation X with a whole new spin, hip hop to the top. I'm called to win. I'm a cultural bearer from a long, long line, unstoppable force. I'm sent to shine. Dignity's banging beneath my skin. I know who I am. I'm the number 10. Thank you. There are other challenges. You've got the black male genealogy written out in here. You've got chants for the black female genealogy from the time of our enslavement to the present generation. Alice Walker says, unless we know our mother's names, we don't really know anything. So you learn that. You x-ray the soul, exalt those worthy of praise, In negotiate, I interrogate, A, adapt for a whole new phase. All this is delineated in here. There are songs. There's a dance in the negotiation, a national dance that is created. It's on YouTube, someplace on YouTube, where the children are enacting it. This is a much needed initiation. You know, it's in rap. It's done on a CD. The CD is on YouTube too. There are songs that are created with a trio band playing, with a very gifted sister singing the songs. And when you come out of this, you know your mother's names from the time of our enslavement to the present generation. You know who you are. The 5 and the 10 means something. The names of the mothers mean something. The dance, you are taking the positions, the 8 political positions taken by the men and the women of our culture, and you're celebrating it in dance. When you go to other countries, the children always come out and perform their historical dance for you. We have to do more than twerk. Okay, all right. The book. It's put out by African Tree Press. It's on Amazon. Get the 2nd edition and do it with your children. There's a whole movie made behind it. I tried to get it to our youth in every way possible. Thank you. Thank you.